storms of life. Every person must experience some storms. Whether you're a child or an adult. As long as you live in this world, you will experience some storms. If you trust Jesus in your storms, you will come out stronger, wiser, and more peaceful. I have discovered that there are two types of storms in life. We have inner storms and exterior storms. Inner storms in the form of fear, or depression, or anxiety, or sickness. The person sitting next to you may be going through some storms, but you may not know. And the person tells you, this is what I'm going through. But some external storms are visible. We face them sometimes in our lives. If you read John chapter 6, verses 16 to 21, the disciples faced some storm on the sea. That particular day, it was evening, and Jesus had gone to a solitary place to pray. And the disciples couldn't wait for the Lord, so they left him behind and boarded the boat. They were crossing the lake when they met a storm. They were terrified. In the midst of the storm, they saw Jesus walking on the water, coming towards them. And he said to them, I am here. Do not be afraid. I am here. Do not be afraid. He is with us always in our storms. He walks on our problems. The very thing that terrifies us, Jesus walks on it to show us that no force is above him. It's bigger than our problems. In the gospel today, the disciples took Jesus with them in the boat. That's what the gospel says. They took Jesus with them in the boat. And they were crossing the water, and they met a storm. In John chapter 6, they left Jesus behind, and they met a storm. And this time, they went with Jesus, and still they met a storm. Now think about it. You may be with Jesus, and still you meet a storm in your life. You may go to church every day, receive communion, pray, try to live a good life. Yet you get sick. Yet your spouse files for a divorce. You pray and you try to live a good life. Yet you lose your job. Experience some crisis in your life. Jesus was with them in the boat. And storm was raging. And Jesus was sleeping in the storm. And it was a sign to them. The attitude he wants them to have. Inner peace. Inner peace. What was the song, the entrance song? No storm will shake my inner peace. Do you remember what they sang to them? No storm will shake my inner peace. Because the storm inside that is even more powerful than the external storm. The storm was raging and they were afraid. And Jesus was sleeping, a sign that you should have peace in your storm. Peace is not the absence of a storm in our lives. It is the presence of the Savior. That's what gives us peace. Jesus is right here with me. So why were they afraid? They thought that Jesus was unconscious. And so they tried by themselves to calm the storm. That's what you don't want to do, because you cannot calm an external storm. What you do is to try to go through it with Christ. When hurricane is coming, have you seen someone trying to stop hurricane from coming? No, you prepare for safety. How do we go through this? That is destroying us. What you can calm is inner storm of fear. And how do we calm inner storm of fear? Through faith. You face your storm with faith. It is only Jesus that can calm external fear, external storm. So they tried to calm the storm, to apply their skills to navigate through the storm. And it was hard for them. And they realized that the only option they had is Jesus. And now they had to wake him from sleep. Get up! We are perishing. So when you think that your Jesus is sleeping, it is okay to yell, to scream, to cry out, Jesus, I am dying, help me. Jesus will not get mad at you. David said, I cried aloud to my God, and he heard me. So Jesus is not an option. It's the only option that we have when we face our storm in our lives. Call upon him. Take Jesus with you wherever you go and trust that he is in control. Whatever you see along the way, know that Jesus is right here with me. Now, 2 weeks ago, there's this woman that taught me something about how to go through my storm. She told me that she was coming back from church, diocese here. She was returning from church. And then there was a bug that came into her car. She was driving along the highway. And she was trying to get the bug out while she was driving. She did not realize that she was over speeding. And a police car was coming after her. Oh, gosh. And she pulled over. Ultimately, she got a ticket. And this was a woman who was trying to raise some money to pay her bills. And she was losing money now, a ticket. And she said that hurt her. And then she realized that she was praying her rosary when this happened. And she said, Jesus is there with me. And then she said, Jesus, we got a ticket. And she said immediately, there was peace inside her. Peace. Knowing that Jesus was aware of this. He saw this coming, and he allowed it to happen. There must be a purpose. I learned that from her. And a few days I was coming back from Park Coast. a little street at night, and a deer hit my car at speed. If you go to my car, the driver's side, you will see some dents there. It's visible. It was a deer that hit me. And I came out. My door was a little hard to open. And I was sad. And I said, Jesus, we were hit by a deer. And I got some relief. Because I knew that Jesus was with me. Jesus wants to go wherever you go with you. But you have to realize that He's there and trust Him. When you know that Jesus is there with you, when you're driving, and then someone cuts you off, instead of cursing the person, and what do? Oh, Jesus, you are here with me. Bless the person instead of cursing. And the problem we have is that we tend to forget that Jesus is right there with us. When we are cursing this person, when we're saying things that are not good for us to say to someone, it's because we're very forgetful that the Lord is right there with you. Who among you, if Jesus is physically present in your car when someone drives recklessly, would open your mouth to curse? Who? If you know that you will do that, raise your hands. Nobody. Because or you do that. Even Jesus present, you will curse? I don't think you would do that. Who wouldn't do that? When you want to go to bed at night, realize that Jesus is with you. So when you wake up in the middle of the night with a nightmare, instead of panicking, you'll be at peace because you know that Jesus is bigger than whatever that is threatening you in dream. We forgot a lot that Jesus is with us. That's why we allow fear and ugly sentiments and feelings to drive us. Jesus wants to go with you. Go with Him wherever you are. Trust Him. He'll never forsake you. And when He's on board, be assured He is going to rebuke your storm.